Hey guys. Anyhow, yeah, no, alright. So, I'm having trouble with this fucking whatever. It's not like, it's just weird. You know, when you have to switch to a different phone. Anyway, so I got that going on. But, anyway. So, let's start this video off. Whatever, you know the disclaimer drill. I want to get right into this. Okay, so, let's put the old man glasses on. Okay, an abstract concept. An abstract concept is an idea that lacks physical existence and cannot be perceived through the senses, yet it plays a crucial role in understanding complex realities. These concepts are not tied to specific tangible objects or experiences, making them distinct from concrete concepts, which refer to physical entities that can be observed or touched. Excuse me. Examples of abstract concepts include love, justice, freedom, truth, time, knowledge, power, wisdom, courage, honor, morality, faith, hope, trust, loyalty, destiny, infinity, consciousness, memory, perception, reality, illusion, fear, joy, sorrow, and peace. Abstract concepts are fundamental to higher order thinking and are essential for complex decision making, planning, and innovation in fields like science, art, and entrepreneurship. They often represent situations, events, feelings, or principles rather than single objects. While they are more detached from sensory experiences than concrete concepts, research indicates that abstract concepts still evoke sensorimotor and interoceptive inner bodily experiences, although to a lesser degree. The meaning of abstract concepts is often open to interpretation and can vary significantly across individuals, cultures, and contexts, which contributes to their potential for discussion and debate. These concepts are formed through the process of abstraction, which involves generalizing from specific examples or experiences to create a common idea that connects related concepts. This process can be seen as a form of compression, where multiple specific instances are mapped to a single, more general idea. Abstract concepts are also considered multiply instantiated, meaning that a single abstract idea can have many different physical or experimental instances. The development of abstract thinking is considered a key trait of modern human behavior, likely linked to the evolution of language. Children begin to develop an understanding of abstract concepts during early childhood, with more complex ideas related to morality and social theory emerging around age 11. So why am I talking about abstracts? Okay. You see, all right, let me do some camera work here real quick. See, people don't know how to think in abstracts. And the idea of abstracts is being like removed. Okay? So, dude, so like for example, the Bible is an abstract concept. And so this is where, see, when people are trying to win a debate, when a debate is no longer about facts and truth, and all it becomes is about winning or losing, that's when like people start to cheat and lie and become dishonest, because their only motive is to win the argument, is to be right, rather than to, like, you know, explore and learn through argument and debate. It's not about, right? And so when people are, that's their motive, is when their motive is not to learn and grow together through argument and discourse and debate, and their only motive is to win the argument, is to be the person that's right, they deflect and obfuscate the idea of abstract, of an abstract concept. and they start to pretend and act as though the abstract concept is in fact not abstract, and it's all just like, it's all based in like non-abstract like context. And this is a major thing, and the Bible is a big thing because so what happened with the Jews in the Bible and what the Jews are in the Bible is all abstract. Like, that's why I read that whole thing about what is an abstract concept. Because you can't touch an abstract concept. You can't, it's a more complex form of thinking. And people are, for some reason, and I think it has a lot to do with social media, people have lost the ability to think in abstracts. And dude, like, so, and like a lot of people are using the Bible to try to use it to confirm their different theories on what the Jews are and what the Jews did and what the Jews do and all this stuff. And it's really pathetic is what it is, because they're like a lower IQ. They don't understand. They don't even have a basic understanding of abstract concepts, you know. And a lot of people, and the Bible is like a great example of what an abstract concept is. And it's also a great example of how people will take an abstract concept and conflate and obfuscate the abstract concept and present it as a non-abstract, in a non-abstract context. Like, well, you see, the Bible here says that the Jews did this and the Jews, and it's just bullshit, dude. Like, the Bible is an abstract concept, and the Bible itself even explains itself as an abstract concept, and it explains like a lot of the things that it's referencing are abstract. Like, the Bible itself explains that Jew is an abstract, dude. Jew is an abstract. The Bible itself, and I'm tired of doing this. Like, I have pulled out literal fucking like Bible verses that explain that Jew is an abstract. Okay? Like, the Bible itself explains that when the Bible references Jew, it is referencing an abstract concept. You know? That a Jew has nothing to do with race. So, like, if you want to use the word Jew in reference to race, that's fine. But when you start, like, bringing in the Bible and talking about, well, what the Bible says about the Jew, the Bible very explicitly and often continues to reference and explain that the word Jew is an abstract concept. Like, it has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with like concrete where like I can touch this. It has to do with the spiritual. It's not a race of people, you dumb fucks. Like, all you people that are using the Bible as support for your argument of the Jewish space laser thing, so anyways, it's, and the thing is what you're dealing with is a lower form of consciousness. Like, people that do not understand abstract concepts are a lower form of consciousness. They just don't, something ain't clicking in here. And a lot of times it's by choice. People choose ignorance because ignorance is bliss, just like Cypher said in The Matrix, ignorance is bliss. And so to ignore to completely ignore that the Bible is an abstract concept dealing with abstracts, and to completely ignore that is that's those people are choosing ignorance in order to win a debate. So it's not about information, sharing information, and exploring information together. No, it's about virtue signaling. Like, look at how much I know. I'm so fucking smart. And the people that are bragging about how smart they are the stupidest people. Like a truly intelligent person does not brag about and show off how smart they are. A truly intelligent person would never do that. And the reason an intelligent person would never do that is because it's not intelligent. So anyway, no, so yeah, abstract concepts. Like people are just ignorant to abstract concepts. Like if there is a discussion on abstract concepts, like all these people, they regard the abstract concept as a concrete, as like they're totally missing the context in its entirety, because they're treating it as though it's a concrete, like this is an object, like I could see this object, And I have gone, dude, like I remember over the last couple of years, I keep referencing a lighter. You see this? You see how this is? See? Now this could be a simulation, but I can feel it. It is in my hand, and I can put my hand to it, and ow, it'll burn me. So even though it still could be a simulation and not an actual real lighter, the problem with that argument, though, is I can light it, and I can put my hand to it, and it burns. Ow! See, that's not an abstract concept. I can put my hand to it, and it burns me. That's not an abstract. That is like a real concrete thing that I can reference. But like the Bible is an abstract, and like all of these stories, they're abstract stories that provide a larger context. Okay, it's like if I were to tell, I'm trying to think of a good example of a story that has like it's kind of like if you were to go into a never judge a book by its cover story. Green Eggs and Ham is a great example. Green Eggs and Ham. If you've ever read the story Green Eggs and Ham, that's an abstract concept. That doesn't mean that there's a fucking cat in a hat walking around talking to, and you have Sam, some weird little creature that's offering up a plate of green eggs and ham. It's an abstract. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't cats in hats walking around on two legs and, in a Homo sapien type thing and talking in the English language and are intelligent. It's not meant to tell you and to suggest that cats don't walk around in hats and speak English. It's the story Cat in the Hat that's not its intention. Its intention is to provide an abstract concept that can be fleshed out and that has a deeper meaning. And the meaning, for example, with the Cat in the Hat is basically like, don't judge a book by its cover. Sam is offering up green eggs and ham, and the Cat in the Hat is like, I hate green eggs and ham, even though the Cat in the Hat has never even tried green eggs and ham. And he's like, I hate that fucking green eggs and ham shit. Get that shit away from me, Sam. And the thing, so it's a big problem. It's a big problem, and it's very, very prevalent online, and I think it's a psyop. Like, it's a psyop. People of a higher intelligence they can use these different concepts to manipulate and control people, to confuse an abstract concept with a concrete concrete thing that can be, visibly seen and touched. To confuse those two things is a method of control. That's why everything is invisible. Everything that is referenced online is all invisible. Like, everyone's dropping like flies from the vaccine. That's not visible. You don't see it happening. But when you go online, that's all anybody ever talks about. Like, everybody's talking about how everyone's dropping like flies from the vaccine. But you and I, out in the real world, we don't see that. See, they're fucking you in your head. And the Jewish space lasers is the same. All these Jewish space lasers are everywhere. And the Bible says that the Jewish space lasers were coming, and now they're here. And this is why I keep referencing these things, like the invisible interdimensional beings, invisible COVID, invisible white supremacy, invisible Jewish supremacy, all these invisible things. But they're referencing them as though they are tangible, that they're real and they're really happening. And like I'm so sick of, dude, like, it's weird when, let's say, for example, and I'm not saying this is me or not, but I'm just saying, if you were to just roll the tape on this in your mind, let's say you were born with a higher IQ, a higher level of intelligence. For some reason, you were born that way, with an abnormally higher IQ, where you just, and it's not really any virtue of yours, you're just born, for some reason, you can use your brain better than your average person. Okay, let's say that's you, right? And then you live in this world where, like, you see dumb people. You, like, everywhere you go, you just see, like, all these dumb people. Like in the movie Idiocracy, is there any way to reason? See, that's like the thing with the movie Idiocracy, is he's able to reason with the idiots, with the idiocrats. And see, that's a movie, and it's a great movie. And the movie Idiocracy is an example of an abstract concept that references reality in an abstract concept. Okay, but like in the movie, he can reason with the idiots. But in reality, if that were to happen in reality, you would not be able to reason with these people. If you were born with the higher level of intelligence, like, you would be basically alone with your thoughts. That's it. You would just be alone with your thoughts. Meanwhile, the majority of everyone around you are acting like fucking, apes and shit. Planet of the Apes. See, that's an abstract concept. And so, is it untrue? Does that mean that it's not happening? Because no. An abstract concept is referencing reality. But it's on a deeper level. It requires more of a higher consciousness to understand abstract concepts, and the Bible is an abstract concept. Now, does that mean that Jesus did not walk the earth? No. Does that mean that Jesus did not walk on water? No. Does that mean that Jesus is not the Son of God? No. It doesn't, dude, it's like if you don't understand an abstract concept, then you just don't understand it. Like, and that's why I'm kind of talking about, like, if you were born with a higher consciousness, you're going to be left alone with your thoughts. Like, if you're born with a higher consciousness than your average person, you're going to be left alone with your thoughts because the people around you are not going to understand, because they were born with a lower consciousness. Like, they just don't, and they don't understand things like abstract concepts. And they'll take an abstract concept and talk about it as though it were a concrete thing. that you can actually touch and taste and see and feel. You know what I mean? And if you try to explain to them, well, dude, you're taking that out of context because that's an abstract concept, not a concrete thing. And then they'll accuse you of heresy. Well, how dare you? How dare you? That's blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. And then you can try to explain to them, dude, I'm not, just because it's an abstract concept does not mean, just because the Bible is an abstract concept does not mean that everything that the Bible says about Jesus is true. But the thing is all that shit says about Jesus, if it is true, it's not concrete. You cannot go up and talk to Jesus and touch Jesus and get healed by the hand of Jesus. You can't. So no matter how much truth there is in all this, it's written 2,000 years ago. Any fucking history books are fucking abstract concepts. They're there to try to explain what happened in history. And to take something that's an abstract concept and also to use abstract concepts can be a more effective way to relay information and facts and truth. Don't you understand that? Like to use the abstract concept method to explain events that happened 2,000 years ago or 100 years ago can be and often is a more effective means of relaying information. Because if it's not illustrated in an abstract concept, then even though it is true, people can more easily accuse it of being false, because they can say, well, that's not I can't touch, taste, feel, and see that. This is a bunch of lies, you know. So and that's why there's truth in movies, because, you know, believe it or not, there are people that create film and music and art to try to, as a means to relay information, facts, and truth. Not everything is a conspiracy, dude. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyways, and what inspired me to do this, besides the fact that this is a very prevalent phenomenon in the world, is this totally it's just, you know, and this is because the people that control everything, they intentionally obfuscate abstract concept with concrete fact. You know, like this is a bottle of fucking, you know, tea tree oil or whatever. This is you know, this is a blue tiger's eye semi-precious gem that has been, you know, carved and polished into the shape of a heart, and it's blue tiger's eye. This is a lighter, okay? This is a cigarette, okay? I'm an intelligent being. Okay, which of those things that I just said is an abstract concept? That I'm an intelligent being is an abstract concept. This is a lighter is not an abstract concept. You can actually touch it, you know. Okay, let's go into some more examples of the difference between a concrete, you know, thing and an abstract concept. This is a lighter. Okay, I'm feeling sad today. Which of those two things is an abstract concept as opposed to a concrete thing? I'm feeling blue today is an abstract concept, okay? The Bible is an abstract concept. Now, does that mean there is not fact? No, you can use facts to relay abstract concepts. Dude, it's totally insane. People have just lost their mind, dude. And it's all this stuff about the Jews. Anytime somebody's using the Bible as supportive evidence for their conspiracy theory that the Jewish space lasers have taken over the United States of America, every time they use the Bible, that is not evidence. That is false evidence. And then these people wonder why nobody listens to them. Why people are like, dude, you are so full of shit. Every time you go on about the Jewish space lasers, you're so full of shit, dude. Like, it's so gay, dude. When you start using the Bible to try to support your argument, Jewish space laser argument, it's stupid, because the Bible itself explains that the word Jew is an abstract concept. It's not a race of people, you stupid motherfuckers. According to the Bible, anybody can be a Jew. I could be a Jew even though I'm Swedish. You could be a Jew even though you're African. You could be a Jew even if you're fucking and it's because God created you that way. Not that you went and converted to the Jewish fucking religion. It has nothing to do with any of that. And all these people, they don't understand the abstract concept of what a fucking Jew is. First of all, it's an abstract concept. And if you're born in Africa and have and that is your heritage and that's your bloodline, but God just happened to create you with the spirit of Jew within you, then that's what you are, dude. You can't just magically convert to it. You either are or you aren't. And a lot of it is based in choice. It's just like a cop. Think of the abstract concept in this sense. Let's say I go and I train to be a police officer, okay? And I do everything that I need to do in order to become a police officer, okay? I pass all the tests, as it were, right? Okay. So, but a real police officer upholds the law. But now if I'm wearing the badge and I got the gun and everything, but I'm abusing my power and I'm going around and raping women because I wear a badge, well then I'm not a real cop. Right? Those who say they are Jews but are not, but are the synagogue of Satan, like those that say they are cops when they are not, but are the synagogue of Satan, those who say that they are intelligent but they are not, but they are the synagogue of fucking stupid. Don't you understand? Like, it's so crazy. Like, to try to reason with the person who chooses ignorance. You'll never be able to reason with a person that chooses ignorance. Because they're choosing that. Those that say they are not ignorant, but are the fucking synagogue of fucking ignorance, you know? And so, anyways, it's pointless to engage. So, but, and that's the thing. If you have an understanding of what an abstract concept is, and you're able to think in abstracts, you're going to find yourself alone with your thoughts if the majority of the people in the world do not understand abstract concepts and do not know how to think in abstracts. Thinking in abstracts with an understanding of what an abstract concept is a deeper level of consciousness. And it's a higher level of emotional IQ. See, there's IQ and then there's emotional IQ. A person can have a very high emotional IQ, yet not really be, knowledgeable on, mathematics and history and science, but they have a very high emotional IQ. An emotional IQ studies have already shown this. Emotional IQ is where success, like true success, like there's fake success, just like there's fake Jews, the synagogue of Satan, there's fake success. But like true emotional intelligence is of far more value in the real world than standard IQ, what people think of as a IQ intelligence. Emotional intelligence is way far surpasses that of just like regular IQ intelligence. It really does. And studies show it and everything, like emotional intelligence trumps basically your basic idea of high IQ intelligence. High emotional IQ intelligence is far more value than just knowing stuff. Who cares? Like, nobody fucking cares what you know, dude. It's what you do with the knowledge that matters. See, that's emotional intelligence. Like, if you know a lot of shit and then you use all your knowledge to like exploit and rape and pillage and plunder, you have a very low emotional IQ. Like, you're stupid, dude. Like, you're a fucking dumb fuck. Hitler was a dumb fuck. If what they say about Hitler is true, he's a dumb fuck because he has no emotional intelligence. He's a fucking retard, It doesn't matter what you know. What matters is what you do with the knowledge that you do have, And the Bible even says this. Again, the Bible is an abstract concept. This is another thing, like, people hate the Bible. The majority of people that hate the Bible, the reason they hate the Bible is because they don't understand what an abstract concept is, and they don't know how to think in abstracts because they have a low emotional intelligence IQ. Their emotional intelligence is extremely low. It's like, duh, And here's the deal. I'll end it with this. What I'm talking about, okay? I've never met anybody who's too stupid to understand what I'm talking about. But I've met many, many, many people in my life that are just too fucking smart. They're just too smart to understand what an abstract concept is. See you, boys.